Welcome back to Roots of Heaven. This is session number 6, entitled Lady Montulais. Last session, get in loser. We're going to beat up a noblewoman. Okay, so then they're in a car or auto carriage. Let's call it what it is, and they are heading southbound towards the more well-to-do external portion of the city of Knock. They were lucky and did not run afoul of any possible things along the road. They passed by a very large ranch in between kind of Knock and a series of lakes known as the Citrine Tears, and I'll type that out in the Discord. Anyways, the name of the ranch is the Erdelatz Ranch, and lots of very fine horses. The main thing that most folks will notice is it does appear that the signage depicts that the owner has the Renine, which are the very ancient and very powerful and the most primal of horses in their ranch for sale. But not as fast as a car, I guess, or maybe it is. Anyways, just a thing to see along the way. Very large ranch. The signage is very easy to follow to get to Rentier's Mine, which is a town around a mine area. The town itself, very well to do, as I mentioned in the beginning of that rant. Very nice houses, very well constructed. Looks like the timber was brought in from the Northlands up in the Silverfang portion of the bay. Very nice, very much suburb of Knock. That said, there are other auto carriages kind of roaming about, but not too many. There are some folks kind of out and about doing, what appears to be day-to-day kind of things in Rentier's Mine, which, like I said, is kind of like a very small town up here in the mountains, up in the hills. That said, done ranting, done rambling. Is there anything that you in particular want to do once you kind of get into the town limits? Or anything that you wanted to do beforehand in my ranting? Stop at any places that I had mentioned. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
just thinking.
Yeah, thinking. Sorry.
No worries. I did go on for like a decade, so I understand.
You're fine. You're fine. Anyone?
I don't know. Because we already supplied up in the town.
Correct, but now that you're in Rentier's Mine, you don't exactly know where Lady Montulais' vacation home is located. So obviously some information will need to be gleaned.
Right.
I thought we had exact
Coordinates.
latitude coordinates.
Nah.
No.
We LoJacker, it's fine.
Fast traveled. We fast traveled. We're there.
Cruising down the old expressway.
Yeah.
Unless there's any armor shops that happen to be around, not really.
The town itself boasts a very small kind of center or town square, and the proprietary shops that you notice, there appears to be a grocer, there appears to be a blacksmith, there does appear to be a diner, and the diner you presume would probably act as like a tap room. There does not appear to be an inn.
Interesting.
Interesting.
What I was gonna say is, regardless of where she lives, she might have some need to do business in this town. So, like a general goods place would be a good place to start inquiring. Like,
Or like she's a lady, so is there like a dress shop? I guess I don't know.
There's not. Yeah, there's a grocer, which your presumption is that it's kind of like a general store, but it deals mainly in food goods and the like. And then the diner, presumably just a simple restaurant. The names of these establishment, the grocer is called Harvest. It appears to have a pumpkin or a gourd as its kind of icon or symbol, kind of painted on a large piece of wood just above the door. The diner is called Lojim's Diner, and the blacksmith doesn't really have a name or icon or any kind of like heraldry notating it. You presume it's more of kind of like a utility than anything else.
what was the name of the diner? Lojim's?
Lojim's Diner.
So-
And that's spelled Lowjim with no space in between but a capital J.
So is
But a
the tavern
lowercase
like?
L.
Nodder
No,
wants
no,
to
no.
go to Lojim's.
It's a capital L as well.
Oh, okay, okay.
Nodder's got a day eating snacks. He wants to eat food.
Okay, you go into Lojim's. Anybody else going to Lojim's?
Yeah, Belroth will go with him.
Could do with the meat.
Ah, good warrior.
Meepo says, I'm gonna stay here, and kind of like looks into the vehicle. And Terry says, right, I'll stay here too. I'm bad at accents.
Spot on. It's like you never left.
Incredible. Incredible.
Yours is actually really good, Chris, if you ever watched it.
Oh.
But yeah, those two will stay in the car. If Jai doesn't want to stay with it all the time. But it does look like there's plenty ample spaces for folks to park an auto carriage. It does actually look like there's signage for that very purpose.
Future.
Then yeah, I'll pull up to that spot, and I guess I can leave them if they're both gonna stay here. I don't know if I trusted Meepo not to whip this thing around the fucking lot, but
You can take the keys or give them to Terry.
I
Don't
feel
give
like,
him to Terry.
We trust Terry either.
yeah.
So
unfortunately,
you can keep the keys. Like, you don't have to let them have the ability to drive.
Yep.
unfortunately, I
I'm
think if
gonna
Meepo,
lock that bad boy up.
I mean,
Meepo were
I
gonna-
assume it doesn't have an air conditioner either way.
No.
Or citation for leaving the kids in the car.
Just crack the window.
I
Right.
mean,
Air elemental cooling functionality is extra.
I assume
God.
Meepo though, if he wanted to take this car out for a ride, he could hotwire. Like he's that little thing's cleverer than he looks.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Okay.
So, diner, everyone? Amalia? Jai?
Yeah, and Amalia's in. Oh yeah. I'm in.
Dinner
too.
time! Or I
Not her
guess
big
lunch?
stretch.
No,
Brenner.
it would be dinner, right?
Brenner.
Because
I
we
would-
left in the afternoon, right?
Yeah, it only took a couple or an hour or so to get here, so it's like a late lunch or early dinner.
Early dinner, yeah. Dinner.
What's the mood in this town?
So, pretty quiet, pretty somber. As you kind of pile out of the auto carriage, there are quite a few stairs, mostly of Sirenian folk. Not too many, other non-human creatures. It looks like the community is very kind of just
Homogenized.
yeah, homogenized. But I would say too, it also almost looks like a lot of the folks here might have blood relation, like
Oh god.
an immediate
Oh, I didn't know we were going to Arkansas.
blood relation.
Oh.
You said on the internet forever.
Anyway,
It's a common
Uh,
joke.
when you kind of enter into the diner, there's folks talking. It doesn't sound like they're, talking about anything important. But most of the conversation is nearer to the door and behind the bar kind of stop as they kind of look at this group of strangers who've entered into their town. Now, inside of the diner, it's a little less Osirian, and it's a bit more kind of diverse, a little bit more representative of Nock. You do see that there are quite a few dwarves, quite a few halflings. Looks like there's probably somewhere around 30 or 40 people with a pretty decent spread of folk, but mostly dwarves and halflings. And you see a stick with a head on it. The head is kind of like a paper mache. It's almost like it almost looks like a horse's head, and the stick seems to be being moved by someone behind the bar, which is like human sized, and the stick kind of comes over in your direction, kind of looks over in your direction. Looking at it, you can see the stick has artifice along the side of it, which seems to be kind of like a series of tubes that kind of go up the length of it. And when you kind of have the horse kind of turn and look at you, you see what appears to be like a looking glass with a big eye kind of staring through the right eye of the horse at you. The horse mouth kind of moves as you see someone's hand kind of pop above the bar and kind of start pulling a string, and it says, "Welcome to Low Jim's! Hi, how can I help you? I'm Jim!" The voice is coming from whoever is below the bar. And you can see, those of you that are taller can actually see the top of the head of a halfling. Looks like there's kind of like a bald spot there, kind of graying.
Oh yeah, Jai is clapping like an 18-month-old. Just.
Thank you, thank you.
Yes.
No. Belroth is just standing there like.
I didn't know there was going to be a puppet show. This is cool.
Can I get you folks anything that you need, anything that you desire, anything at all?
I think a round of drinks would be lovely, no?
Great.
Absolutely.
We've got some tasty, crisp ale. Get you. You want to have a seat at the bar, seat at the table, whichever's free? I can't see. moving the stick, and he's like, and if you want the special, it's really good. It's the tastiest thing you'll get on this side of Osiria, and that's straight from the horse's mouth. He says,
Another will laugh at that. It's so good. It's so bad. It's so good.
Another round of applause.
No.
Yes.
Oh god.
I feel like Nemalia and Balroth would make eye contact and then quickly look away. Is this happening?
It absolutely is.
Love it.
Oh no.
Do you? Go ahead.
Yeah. Whatever the special
Is there-
is.
I was gonna say,
I'll
what's
take
the
one.
special today?
Oh, well, it's a Low Jim's secret. I'm using the horse kind of do a little. If you want, have a seat at a table, or the bar, whichever's free.
I can't
Table?
Okay.
Deal.
If you
Probably.
move over to
Table.
a table, there's one table, and it's kind of close to the center because most folks who go to restaurants don't like sitting out in the open seating.
It is weird.
It's super weird. But anyway.
I feel vulnerable.
Reminds me of a story that I'll probably never tell you, but it's funny. But yeah, anyways, moving along. You move to the center of the diner, take a seat at the table, and you would see a tall woman. She is very tall for a human woman, kind of like a dark tan skin, no hair. Looks like it's been shaved, kind of like a bit of peach fuzz, I guess. But she comes out and she's wearing a very large apron. Almost looks like a smith's apron instead of a cook's apron. Thick leather, and kind of burn marks about it. She kind of comes out, looks down at everyone at the table, crosses her arms, and kind of says, "You getting the special?"
Yeah.
Oh, it's
One
hard
special,
to
please.
say no
Special.
with a sales pitch like that.
Okay.
Right.
And here, and then you see her kind of wave her hand like this, and a goblin comes rushing out of the same spot with a tray full of drinks, kind of slides them out onto the table, more slides them out onto the table like that. And then the goblin kind of like looks up at her for like a sign of approval. The goblin rushes back into the thing with like a smile on his face. Okay, I'll get those right up. Any food allergies or anything?
No.
Okay, great.
Bear.
Don't eat people.
I don't eat bear. Don't eat people. Good
no,
one.
No sentient eating here.
Okay.
Great. Perfect.
To each their own, I suppose.
I'm not picky. Fair.
Not
Kinda
cover
gives you
yourself a little
look
bit.
at that, like, and then heads back. The diner goes back to its own kind of like operational nonsense. You can overhear conversations, and it sounds like a lot of folks are kind of talking about the business of the week. From what you're kind of overhearing, and I'm sure everyone's done this in a restaurant. Kind of listen in on conversations that are not yours. And just be curious for no reason.
Always.
Nope, never.
Sure. So, what you're hearing from a group of dwarfs and halflings and a Goliath, not too far from you, is that they are complaining about the walk from the mine camp to the diner, but the halflings are the ones that are complaining. The dwarfs are the ones that are saying it's worth it. It's the only good place to eat, and they've got good ale, which you'll happen to be imbibing. It's quite tasty. And the Goliath throughout that conversation is very quiet, very stoic. Arms crossed. There's also a similarity between him and the cook who came out to talk to you. Although the cook that came out to talk to you is very much a human, from what you can tell. But other conversations you're hearing are mainly kind of work stuff. A lot of people here seem to be kind of more what you saw outside. There were a lot of kind of people who were just kind of wasting the day away, and inside you've got people who are coming here either like on a break or at the end of their shift and are kind of like taking the time.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Do we have any idea of what, or I mean, you may have said this, but do we know what exactly is our target's? Okay, it's her summer home in the town. Okay,
Yeah.
sorry. I was like, why is she there? Do we know like what she does there? Like, is she known there? Do we know like what her business is there?
All that Ashuna had for you is that she has a summer home, she's outside of the city, and Ashuna couldn't go to investigate. So you're kind of coming out here knowing that somewhere in this town, either on the outskirts of it or within it, there is a vacation home for Lady Melissa Montulais, and you need to basically go to her and find out where Ekstrom is located. That's the mission that you've been given.
Yeah. So, Namalia has like pretty poppin' passive perception.
Mm-hmm.
Can she just like have like satellite ears
Yeah.
for like the word Montulais?
Yeah, sure. If that's the case,
Satellite ears.
you're not really hearing much about that that name specifically. The goblin comes back out with a strange bit of artifice on his back, and a couple of trays that he's kind of like lodged like kind of on his shoulders to kind of move out to there. Once he gets out there, you see him kind of reach behind his back with his foot, kind of grab that thing on his back with his toe, and kind of slide it around in front of him. As it kind of moves, it kind of pops and locks into like a table. He sets one of the trays onto that, and then starts kind of placing the dishes out in front of you off of one tray, slides that under the other tray, and then puts out the other dishes out onto the table, and kind of goes and brushes off.
Ooh, spectacle.
And the food that's set out in front of you appears to be a bowl filled with a whole bunch of vegetables, kind of on a bed of rice, with a massive kind of like egg kind of cooked on top of it, and sesame seeds kind of like scattered across it. I had something similar for lunch.
I was scared of what this special was, and now it looks amazing.
It's just
Right?
bibimbap.
Exactly.
If you do smell the vegetables, it does appear that they are all pickled, yeah. For the most case, pickled. Very tasty stuff.
Cool.
Artisan.
I don't think I've eaten this many vegetables in a while.
Nutrients.
Oh god.
Yeah,
Delicious.
it's very tasty. I mean, the vegetables have a
Yeah.
very crisp nature to them. I mean, it's good. It's not the slop you were probably anticipating.
And I eats a whole bowl,
Yeah.
and then needs another one.
Okay, somewhere in the midst of the eating the food, bing, 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 you hear the word Montulais kind of from across the way, and then you kind of focus in on the context, Namalia, and you hear, well, if it wasn't for the Montulais family, we wouldn't have to be dealing with this shit. And that's literally the context. And as you kind of focus in on it, you hear another person say, "Shh, keep it down. We don't know who's loyal or who's not."
We're not.
And it appears that the people who are having this conversation are an elf, and a dragonborn.
Well, hey, are they my parents?
Can everyone?
Are you my mom?
Comes back.
Did
Oh,
everyone
hold on,
hear
hold
that,
on.
or just Namalia?
Just you. You're the only listener.
Okay.
But hold on, real quick, because I'm gonna steal a bit from a much better dungeon master. Make an insight check, Belleroth.
Sick.
Okay. You
Nice.
think about it, and you realize that their age is probably contemporary with your own, and they're probably not your parents.
Oh.
Probably.
There was
Probably not.
Fun to think about, though.
There was a show on Dimension 20 where the guy was looking for his father. He'd have him make an insight check whenever he met an orc because he was a half-orc. And
Oh no.
He kept on thinking everyone was his father, so
Oh my gosh.
Oh no.
it was a
That's
funny bit.
adorable.
Yeah.
Beautiful. It's like that children's book. Are you my mommy?
Oh, I love the book.
It's so
is there a
good.
book?
Yeah. There's a
Gotta
couple of
play.
different versions.
Is your mama a llama?
Yeah.
So, it definitely sounds like those two people, at least, are not fans of something that the Montulais family has done in this place. Being kind of familiar with Nock, and just to kind of cover it again, the Montulais family is not a family in the traditional sense of like the Dungeons and Dragons mentality. Families have kind of expanded beyond kind of like a familial structure and more like corporations. And the Montulais family is a weird one in that it kind of has its own church that's not an official connection to the Great Church of Osiria, that kind of deals in the city alone, and has a lot of respect enough to be one of the 10 seats of power in the city,
So it's a cult.
potentially.
So Namalia will kind of whisper and point out to the group that boys over on the side are familiar with our target, possibly somebody with better diplomacy, persuasion. No, it's diplomacy. No, persuasion, and or deception might probably be better off going to go asking questions.
That sounds like a perfect job for me.
Or
Do it.
Well, I wanted to talk to the
John chose
dwarfs about.
chaos this morning.
I wanted to talk to the dwarf about beer pairings with my special.
I would love to watch.
You could do both.
I think that's a
I
great,
suppose.
honestly, Namalia would be like, I think that's a great way in. Go for it.
Oh, ask the elf. I guess the elves do drink hard stuff.
Well, you would note that both of them appear to have tankards. They do also have the telltale signs of soot-covered hands and kind of ruffled, sweaty brows. The Dragonborn. My brain did a thing with the D word. It's
Keyword.
Anywho.
I did the same thing.
Ah! the Dragonborn.
My innocent ears.
The Dragonborn. So I would say that Belroth would note that Dragonborn don't really sweat. Like they kind of have their own kind of form of looking
They
tired.
smell.
Yeah, and that Dragonborn, who is kind of like a green scaled Dragonborn, does appear to be tired, just like the elf across from them.
All right. Is my food out?
Yeah, you've been eating.
All right. Then I'll take my bowl. I'm like, all right, guys. I'll do you proud.
I'm going in. I'm going in.
Believe you. Believe in you.
Wait, before you go, here, take that.
Cast
Just in
spell.
case
Nice.
you gotta do anything weird.
What's this? What is this?
Guidance.
Guidance, yeah.
You touch one willing creature. What's for this?
Oh, I'll hit him with an inspiration too.
Excellent.
What does this do?
I
for
give
me?
him a good pat on the back.
So
That's the
basically,
best I can do.
so Namalia
Belroth
would
just plugs.
Namalia would get close to the bear. Why can't I remember the bear's name?
Nodder.
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 It's okay.
Just like
Bless you.
like
Sorry.
pat him on the arm and say, if you've got to do any kind of fast talking or a little deception, don't worry. The spirits of the earth and the seas will guide you to where you need to go and what you need to do. You can do this.
Nodder puffs up his chest. All right.
You head on over.
Yeah, I'm heading over.
A lot of folks are very much kind of confused, and you can see that the Dragonborn and elf kind of look over at you as you approach, also appearing a bit confused. They kind of raise up their mugs and kind of cover the lower halves of their face as you kind of approach, and kind of give you looks with very concerned eyes, and you stand over them at the table, kind of an awkward, kind of like quiet approach, and then stop.
Like the new
Oh,
kid in the
no,
book.
I'm-
I'd be. It wouldn't be a quiet approach. It'd be like a sort of like a wobble.
Well, I know, but you're not saying
Yeah.
anything.
I haven't said anything yet. What time of day is it?
It's mid afternoon or late afternoon.
Linner.
Good evening to you two.
Hail, says the elf.
I see you guys are also enjoying some good libations and food.
The only place worth eating here.
I've known a few Dragonborn and love their opinions on food. I just came over to see. What do you think pairs well with this special?
Beer wise?
Yeah.
Well,
On this
they've
menu.
only got like 4 options, so we typically just get what the dwarves are drinking whenever day we come in. They typically have a good idea as to what's best. They've already gone through all the options before we get here.
What do you normally get? Sorry, rude of me. Nodder, by the way.
Melkar, the elf says,
Melkar?
placing his hand in yours. The Dragonborn kind of... It doesn't say anything.
Just like the one.
Melkar kind of looks over to the Dragonborn. It's not every day we see a bear folk. I mean, the lands of Ta have not opened up their secrets entirely to us, so don't be rude. The Dragonborn kind of looks up at you and says, Brig.
Brig. A lot of respect for your kind. And he reaches out his hand again.
Yep. He kind of
Yep.
shakes your hand. And Melkar says, have a seat.
Thank you.
Came with a group of friends, it looked like.
Indeed, we're passing through.
Fair.
I always love to meet new friends, and seeing a Dragonborn inspired me to come back over and
Passing
say
through
hi to you
where?
all.
Stifford's Pass.
I'm from the town of Prosser.
Oh, you're heading into Taha.
Yes. I came through there on a way to visit one of my friends over in Nock. They're accompanying me back on my way towards Prosser again. We're making a little stop to deliver some packages.
Interesting. We work down in the mine. Reinteer's mine. It's well enough, but it seems like the town itself is becoming a little bit more expensive to live in. Thank goodness for Lojo.
Yeah, it seemed pretty fancy. A lot
Yeah.
fancier than where I'm from.
Well, there are certain benefactors in Nock who feel it's important to make this place very profitable ever since Residuum was found in Rantier's mine.
What?
Residuum. Brett goes, you don't know what Residuum is?
I'm very simple.
Melkar shrugs and says, it's a kind of glass that is very potent with magical energies. It's said to have come over from the Feywild during the onset of creation. It's used in a lot of magical things, and it's very expensive. A single shard, no bigger than, this, would probably fetch around 1,000 gold.
I suppose that's interesting to the people that care about magic.
I believe that's the case. Yeah, there's a lot of houses in that city that are very interested in Rantier's mine as of late. And
I guess
word of it is that it's going to become a less safe place to be if what we've heard from Sifrit's Pass is true.
what is that?
Town's fallen.
Is he talking about this town or
Sifrit's Pass used to serve as a defense against the more nefarious denizens of Ta. But if what they say is true, then the lineage of Sifrit and his great duty has been broken, and we don't have much to defend us. It must
That why
be
you guys?
good.
Is that why you guys are working here now?
Well, we've been working here before then, but if we get more accurate reports and that's proved to be true, then we're probably going to head back to Nock. There's money to be made here, but yeah. House Harrigan is a pretty good. They're pretty good about paying us decent wages for the work that we provide. The rumors are that a lot of House Montulais has begun work in a mine not too far from where our hole was dug.
Are they another one of the big families? I hear that name a lot.
Harrigan?
In Montulais.
Montulais is also one of the 10, yeah.
I don't know how it is in this town, but when we went to visit Nock, some people had some business with the Montulais family. And we have some things we need to sort out with them.
I believe they have a place where they do most of their business. Kind of looks down like this, kind of points out the window which you're kind of near. And you can see that there's some houses that are kind of up on the rock side. You can see a road that kind of winds up. Then you can see that road kind of diverge away from the houses, kind of up on its own, and kind of settled inside of like a small little like cup-like shape in the rocks is kind of a grouping of trees. And then you can see just barely like the aspects of a house that are just barely visible in those trees. I believe that's where they reside and do their business.
All the way out there, they just run things, huh?
Yeah.
Uh,
Brigg says, I think might be cautious if you're planning on going up that way. They're currently on edge. Someone very important, one of their dignitaries, appears to have moved in recently, a couple days ago, a couple weeks ago, I don't remember. Time kind of passes. Pretty weird out here when you're working. Days kind of blur together. I don't know if you've ever been down in a mine or not.
no, I've never done work like that yet.
Malakar says, it's probably one of the dullest jobs I've worked in my 125 years. And I used to work at an office in House Harrigan.
You two seem like good sports. Have you ever considered putting your hands into construction?
Well, I wouldn't, because I kind of have an issue with dealing with dead wood. If House Gravesend was possibly providing a job in that regard, perhaps. Brig said,
me!
Oh, Brig kind of looks at you and goes, you can see that his thumbs are massive. I don't think I could do it. My hands apparently were made for breaking rocks.
Let me buy you a round of drinks before I go.
Thank you so much. We definitely appreciate that.
If you ever look for adventure, go to Prosser.
Well,
We've got work.
we're not much of adventurers, and we're not much for passing the pass. So, if you're looking for people to help with something work-wise, you might want to put out an official, notice of work in the city of Knock. I would suggest, if you're looking for people to construct stuff, build up the town, I guess, defend it, you might want to reach out to House Sereda.
I've had enough politics dipping their hands into the nature of things.
Brig's
and,
hand kind
you know.
of reaches and touches your shoulder. I appreciate that too. But listen, if one house is worth talking to out of the 10, it's House Sereda. They just do good shit. And if you need help defending you, or whatever, building up the town back to the proper, then House Sereda is the one to talk to.
All right, thank you, my boys. Melka, Briggs. He puts out both paws again.
Yep, shakes, and you head on back. Meanwhile, you folks back at the table, anything that you want to do besides listening on the bear conversation?
Sin was barely listening.
Yeah.
Son of a bitch.
Why do I play
Raph
this
is
game?
like literally just like.
Because Zach, because you secretly enjoy pain.
Yes. It's kind of weird sadomasochist thing. I need to talk to my therapist
give me the
about.
puns! Give me the puns! Ah!
It hurts me deep in my soul.
The worse the
love
better.
it.
Just claw out all these
Oh
memories.
my god, my brain is mush.
Chipping
I
away
just
at
got
my
it.
id.
I just got it.
So
Oh.
sorry.
What did I miss?
I was barely
You
listening.
barely missed anything.
Oh no! It just keeps going.
Yeah, it hurts.
It's,
It hurts
it's the devil.
A furry
So-
puns.
Sorry, Sin was actually just picking through the
Are you?
vegetables to
me. Are
determine.
you sorry?
No,
Okay.
no, I'm not.
Never.
You can blame my grandpa. He taught me all about puns whenever I was like a wee lass. But no, Sin was listening-ish, but also picking through the vegetables and deciding which ones they like.
Yeah, I would say that there are mostly root vegetables, radish, carrots. There's also some other stuff like cucumber and such. It's all kind of like it is pickled, but it's not like the tasty kind of pickling that would be present in like a Korean dish. It's more
Yeah.
like a dill kind of pickling, so it's
Oh God.
definitely a saltier vibe
Yeah.
throughout the entirety of the dish.
You know what goes
Lots
with
of-
salt? Alcohol.
True.
That seems to be why the folks like it.
They got to get their electrolytes back up,
Yeah, that's it. You're down there in the mine all the time.
right? Losing all that salt from sweat. There's this little pile of radishes piling up.
Go ahead.
That's it.
So Namalia was like hanging on to every word, and as soon as Noder comes back, she'd say, "That was such a great job, excellent. You didn't even really need the extra guidance from the powers at be." And she looks around, kind of like thinking that everyone else was also listening, like intently. Isn't that right, everyone? Noder did a great job.
As you're looking at the group.
Puts down empty cup. Oh, did he? I had total faith in them. Wasn't even paying attention.
Balroth is just
Thank
trying
you,
to peel
guys.
a pile of radishes without being noticed. Like literally just like
And Amalia, you also kind of look. You're kind of looking like everybody, like looking for like that kind of. You see a dwarf kind of look like, huh? So like you accidentally catch eyes with him, and he's like, what? Oh, I didn't.
yeah,
Oh.
of course.
Just keeps eating.
I mean, Notter's great. I didn't doubt him.
We've got a lead.
Did we?
That's true.
Oh,
Where?
Yeah, they said that they only have like 4 beers on the menu, so basically anything goes good with a special.
Oh.
Fantastic.
Well,
Try
Yeah.
another one?
Should we just get like, ooh, what are those things? A flight,
A flight.
a flight.
They do those
little-
here? There's no way they do those here.
I mean,
No.
we could also just order 4 big glasses of each
I'm
one.
going for that as well.
You then hear
Extra
kind of
large flight.
and there's like a goblin standing next to you who you didn't even notice. He says, "Someone's ordering the pony show!" Rushing back into the bag. You see the horse kind of come out and start kind of moving. You then see like the eyes start glowing brightly. And there's like a flashlight coming out of it. It starts spinning around the room, like the light, as he's supposed to sit in his hand.
These poor
then-
guys.
You then
I love
watch a series of goblins, 3 of them, come out, and then the door kind of is left open with the very tall cook woman and the kind of standing in the way. The goblins come out with a very large number of I won't say glasses. I will say kind of like small cups of alcohol, and they kind of just lay them out. In total, there's 5 of you here, right?
Yeah.
So there's about 40 of these small cups that are laid out on the table by these 3 goblins over the course of about a minute. And then they all kind of look at you and kind of like nod their heads. And from across the way, you hear the cook say, "You didn't order it on accident, did you?"
No, this is great.
Balroth had to like lift up his plate to make a room for it, and it's just like, what is?
As she says that and hangs in the air, the goblins kind of turn to her, like confused and kind of scared, and then turn back to you. And then you're like, "No, it's great." And then the goblins all
No.
smile and look back to the cook. And
We did
she's like-
good.
and they rush back into the back.
They're so cute.
I love them. I want to come back here. Just like, no wonder they summer here. This is great.
Doesn't seem like they come out to this spot.
Well, they're missing out.
You know what? I feel like Namalia is usually very cool and collected, but right now she's having like white knuckle anxiety from like these like I don't know Chuck E. Cheese antics.
That is exactly what they are.
Oh god.
It enjoys the heck out
Like
of
she
it.
usually is not a drinker, but she's like going for the first like cup, like
Oh god, I gotta drink it.
So each of the beers in turn kind of has like a different flavoring to it. Now, the first 4 are, pretty average. It's kind of like, a hoppy kind of drink, something a bit more stout, something a little bit more kind of just clear and crisp, kind of almost seasonal. And then the next 4 are a bit weird. And I'll explain why. The first one of the final 4 has kind of like a greasy kind of taste to it, and almost tastes like there is like some kind of grease or like lard in it. When you kind of throw back the shot, it kind of slowly trails down the throat. Throw back the glass. It kind of slowly trails down the throat. If that sounds disgusting to you in your mind, and you feel your character would respond the same way, I need you to make a Constitution saving throw.
Yeah.
And
I
if
feel
you
like
got,
I would need a Constitution saving throw, but
if you got,
Like a little weirded out about it, but not like
I feel like
I'm not gonna
Balroth
drink
is like,
this.
that's gross.
if you got less than a 12, and
Otter eats uncommon things.
it definitely is gross. It doesn't sit with you right, but nobody upchugs. But the aftertaste is amazing. It tastes like bacon.
Oh shit! Is this a bacon shot?
It tasted like beer, but then it had the consistency of lard going down your throat, and then it makes you feel like you are filled with bacon.
Filled with bacon.
That one's another
With
one of
bacon.
those.
The next one, if you move on to it, or if you grab for it to try and get rid of the nasty taste of bacon beer, you take a quick swig of it, and yeah, it's really hot, like spicy hot, like it was made with some kind of something on the what's the scale that they put hot shit on. That
Scoville.
He's got it.
Scoville.
that's the
yeah.
ticket. It tastes like it's on that scale, like up there on that scale. Like somebody shoved ghost pepper in that.
Uh-oh.
It's real bad, and
few 100,000.
I'll leave it there to ask if you want to continue to the other two.
Yep.
Oh hell yeah! We're here for the
Nader,
whole show.
Okay.
Nader's not used to spice. Does he have to roll
We're
for
showing
that?
up to this
no.
matter wasty pants.
Wait, yes. Go ahead and make a Constitution saving throw. I've never seen a bear sweat.
Oh.
And you won't
I
today.
never will. That Constitution saving throw too strong. Then the last two, one's a bit more floral and kind of almost rose-like, and the very last one kind of tastes like a candy, like it tastes like just hard tack candy. Like you know those tins that they have filled with like all of the little.
Yeah.
Do you remember the best one that you've ever tasted in there?
Yeah.
It tastes like that one.
Amazing.
The Christmas candy tins
I love those.
that everyone's grandparents always had.
Those
We
were
always
great.
get those when we went to the symphony.
Ooh.
But that's
Also, ribbon candy.
yeah. Also
The universal experience of getting candy before the symphony. Of course.
I feel like only Magpie and I are not on this. Feeling.
It's the opera candy.
Opera, ballet, symphony.
Yep.
Yep.
The only time I went to the symphony was because our school took us, so I
Oh.
wouldn't know.
I'm a nerd.
That's fine.
That's why I'm in theater.
But yeah, it's a run of alcoholic beverages that's not too terrible. But by the end of it, you are slightly buzzed, and under the effects of alcohol, a known drug.
But a legal one.
Yeah.
Pulls keys out of pocket because no drunk driving laws exist.
Not in
You know
this,
what
Yeah.
sounds good right now?
not in this town.
A joyride.
Yo, wanna go for
We get the-
spin? Quick spin
we
around
get-
block?
Get the realms first.
Meepo
DUI.
loves this shit right now.
He does.
Zoom.
But really though, they told us where the people
Oh boy.
Oh shit.
We know where
need
to go.
food. I need
And
more food.
instead we got
Did eat food.
You're oh, and then you see a goblin rush off to the back.
Joe.
Like
I
he
love this
was
place.
he was standing there the whole time,
Oh shit.
and you just haven't really.
It's like full service.
Yeah, you haven't really noticed. Once you all kind of like start looking down, you do see one goblin just hanging out there, going, like listening very intently to your whole conversation.
Hands him, holds out a little piece of the pickled radish. Feeds it to him.
Dog!
Aw.
That guy literally says that as you like feed it. Like,
Yeah, it's close too, like because you drop it in his mouth and the teeth are very sharp and just.
Oh, so they're still just goblins.
Yeah. Well, they're not. They look like they're rather young goblins, like very kind of adolescent goblins. Like this
Oh,
is
they're babies.
not babies, but
They're basically
So
babies.
what you're saying is we should adopt them.
Oh no.
it's already been done. That person is already doing a service to this goblin family, so you can't do it. They're already adopted.
Yeah.
You can't adopt adopted people.
The big lady, she's adopted them.
Yeah. Can't adopt adopted
They're
people.
her mom. Or
Their mom.
she's their mom.
She's my mommy.
Like
Yeah, she's your mommy.
Sen drunkenly explaining to Balrog why
They're her Don't you get it? And he's just like,
This is how it works in Goblin Kind. It's the same.
I don't know. I'm adopted. I don't know how this works. Wait, no, I do. Kind of. I don't know. She's hot.
By the
Big
time
tall lady.
that you kind of
Yeah,
Thank
alright.
you.
gone through the pony show and also have had like a second bowl of food, had some conversations, etc., it has grown dark. You do notice that there are a number of lights outside, so it's not completely dark. It looks like they have lanterns or kind of light posts throughout the entirety of the town. Seeing it now outside of the kind of just sun setting light that you had before, the town looks very beautiful. Looks very ornate. It looks like the Golden District in Knock. It looks like a very well developed and well built series of houses and establishments here. Even Low Gyms, which appears to be filled with riffraff, compared to the people you're seeing outside. Covered. The people inside are covered with soot. The people outside are not. It looks nice.
Where are we driving, boy?
You are slightly buzzed.
Are we
That
driving,
stopped.
or are we crashing this manor at night? Is that a good plan?
Are we drunkenly crashing this manor at night?
Did we forget that we had a vehicle and are walking to the
Oh.
I mean, how long is that tight, windy road? Like, what does it look like?
Are you familiar with I think it's Lombard Street in San Francisco? Yeah, Lombard Street. Are you familiar with it?
Is it like
Not offhand.
all of the roads in the Ozarks?
No, it's
I'm
like
familiar with those.
it's
They're
a
like
notoriously famous windy road. Here, I'm gonna post a link.
They made it like that?
Yeah, so that's what the road looks like.
oh, so it is like going in the Ozarks.
Just nicer. Good God.
Why?
Oh,
know.
definitely nicer. A lot nicer.
Is there
Unless you're a
do
car.
not enter sign?
Oh no, there's not. Lombard's is down. You can only go down it.
At least they made it pretty for when people die.
Yeah, no, there's
Right.
lots of accidents. I don't think anybody dies because the speed limit on it's like 2.
We all said the same number.
I like it. I was even thinking too. 2 miles an hour.
It's 2.
So you're sitting there trying to think, like, how fast could I reasonably go down that road? And I'm like,
The answer is 2.
it's neutral with the brake
Neutral.
on.
I've always wanted to drive it, but my wife is not a
So-
fan of bad driving.
I think Namalia would try to be the voice of reason
That's fair.
and say, maybe we should crash and take a rest, sleep off this little buzz, and she'll like hiccup and like as she hiccups, like her legs turn into tentacles for a second, and then she
Amazing.
hiccups again, and then it's legs again, and then we can tackle this tomorrow.
Your legs.
Oh, well, they're legs again, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
They weren't, but now they
I don't
are.
think it matters.
Yeah.
I think somebody should have drunkenly responded, "Your legs."
Balrog would have just been like, what?
How dare you say this to me?
What's wrong with my legs?
You are legs.
You are legs. You're nothing but legs. Oh god. What is in those?
Yes, they need a nap.
Okay, so like I said, there's no inn.
Are we car
Yeah.
napping?
Vans.
I mean, I can sleep in the streets, but I don't know this place.
Oh, I have Leomund's tiny hut. We're fine.
But the what?
Leonid's tiny hut, it allows for the caster to create a very defendable bubble out in the open to sleep in.
Oh, that's
I was just
nifty.
gonna sleep on someone's roof.
Ta-da!
Cool.
Do you do it in such a fashion that the back of the van or the front of the van is encased in the hut?
Yeah, we can like pop open the like.
Actually, I think it's wide enough that you could actually just put the whole thing in there.
I mean, you probably have
What
to.
is
It's
the-
a 10-foot
They're not leaving
radius.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if you overlap it with the van, then it's like you get more space,
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
That's true. That's true.
right? Like a couple of people, like someone could sleep in the van, someone could sleep in the.
So the van's like back end is actually opens into the hut.
Yeah.
Tiny hut. Yeah, exactly.
Fancy.
Does it look like an
Yeah,
actual
it's-
hut?
It's like
No.
putting a little pop-up tent out the fucking back door. Of the...
It's either opaque or
I
translucent.
knew you were a good idea.
It's either opaque or
Thank you.
translucent bubble, like a big old orb of force. A dome, rather, of force.
Kickback.
and it can look oblique,
Oh,
right?
opaque.
Opaque. Thank you. That's the word,
Oh.
not oblique.
Or
Fucking
oblique.
be oblique.
It
Fuck
can look
me.
like an oblique.
Where am I?
Oh, from the outside.
From the
okay.
outside, so we can see out it, but they can't see into it.
But what color did you
wondering.
choose?
Yes.
Oh, I'm sure it's like a pearlescent sort
Yeah.
of pink. So it looks mostly black, but you catch the light the right way on it. Like the stars kind of twinkle these like pearlescent pink.
Oh, that's
off of,
pretty.
Like, the shimmer. Oh, it's beautiful. Oh.
Oh,
People are gonna
Dwarves.
see us all just like pile into this van and then disappear into a pink bubble.
Yeah.
And be like,
Basically.
who are these people?
They're just gonna be splayed
People
out
who
in the back
travel
of
in
that van.
style, that's who.
Right.
You would, set up and kind of, get to resting. Very shortly after you start kind of getting set up and getting ready to do that, you see an individual kind of walk over towards your camp site and kind of stand there, cross his arms, and kind of look at you. He's wearing very kind of priestly attire. His hat is very tall. You can see that the hat is kind of like a bright blue with kind of yellow markers and a big yellow kind of like circle, and inside of that circle is a blue flower shape. He's kind of looking at the bubble confused, and then he kind of like speaks aloud and says, "Whoever cast this spell, please exit this spell to speak with me for a moment, or make it so that we can communicate and I can visually see you."
Hold on. Yeah, so
Why?
we're about to take a long rest anyway. I don't care. I'll just fucking drop it.
Okay.
Or I'll-
Hello.
Yeah.
You are not from around these parts, I'm presuming.
No, sorry. And no, Wayne. So,
It doesn't look like you are attempting to make camp here. Is that accurate?
is that not okay?
Provisionally, you are not allowed to rest anywhere you wish to. Most folks have a residence here. Do you not?
We do not.
Apologies, then. It seems that House Sereda has failed you. House Montulais will not. If you wish to have a place to reside for the evening, you can come with me, and I will find you suitable. Oh my god, the word's right on the tip of my brain. Accommodations.
I got you.
Coudron.
Tried to be erudite, and I almost had it.
Would that be like all of us together? Should we bring the car?
No, the vehicle's not necessary. You hear Terry go, "Hi, don't tell him I'm back here, and me and Meatball gonna hide in that. We're gonna hide here. This is a good impersonation of me. This what I sound like. I don't know. I got
It's what I
coffee.
sound like, ain't it?
Only Ozzy Osbourne.
Not her also being in the van,
Gosh,
just
the cock.
looking at him
So
with
sorry,
this,
Chris.
like the most crunched up face, like, what are you eating?
would we be staying though? Like, I mean,
of course, so
this
you
is
will
fine.
be staying inside of the church for the evening. Tomorrow morning, you'll be expected to file paperwork so that you can be given one of the cabins, and gestures off towards like a series of houses that are being built, kind of like off to the side, closer to where you entered in from. And once your paperwork is complete, hopefully by the middle of the morning, you'll be able to start moving into one of the empty spaces, and your service to House Montulais will begin.
Notter's
I'm
just like,
sorry. Or what?
Service to House Montulais will begin. Did you not come here seeking work? Based
No,
on
we're
your...
traveling through.
I'm just going back home.
Oh, travelers through. That's very odd. Most folks don't stop here, as there's no reason to. Siffords Pass.
We're
We
not
heard
most
great
folks,
things about
and we
Love Gym.
don't have reasons.
Have you been to the pony show, Blue Rose Hat guy?
Fantastic job in there, by
Really?
the way.
Looking at the bear cloak,
Love
very
diner.
quickly turning his
The last
attention.
4.
Strange, I've never seen a druid speak in its bestial form. That said, not a lot of folks stop here unless they're planning to do work. It's only about 45 minutes via auto carriage for you to arrive at Siffords Pass. If you truly are passing through, I would suggest making your way there as quickly as possible. You don't have much light remaining, if any at all.
Out of character, didn't they say that Siffords Pass had fallen?
Yeah, Briggs and Melkar.
They
both
said that, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We've heard that it's not safe there. We're only looking to stay the night.
But
Yeah.
you'll-
Be
Also,
out
did
of-
you call her a beast? Points to Nemalia because
No.
I know what he meant.
Okay.
But Sin's confused because the only druid is Nemalia.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Notter's just glad to be called a druid. He's like, oh.
And Namalia,
Think I'm
She's
fancy.
not a beast.
Namalia's face freezes, and
She's
she's
a
like,
lady.
"Did he just call me a beast?"
She's a lady.
No. I think there's a very strange misapprehension here, but not one I'm very concerned with sorting out. Let me focus in on your goals here and try and
Incredible.
determine them, and then we can work with you to help actualize what your goals are. You plan on passing through this town. Is that not right?
Yes.
Is that not right?
So you're going to be making your way through Siffords Pass at some point. There's no other place to go. Unless you're planning on going to Laneway.
I mean, we're gonna have breakfast at Lojim's
Lojim's.
again. That was great. Pony show, 10 out of 10.
Probably
I would
11
won't,
out of
imagine
10.
what they do for breakfast.
Right?
probably won't have a
Right?
chance at that. The diner doesn't open until high noon.
Yeah, well.
It could be
We
breakfast.
sleep in late normally.
Yeah.
Right. And
Well, they sleep in late.
I do apologize. I don't think you're understanding. That is the reason why I am trying to correct this matter. If you were to be sleeping here in your tacky Harrigan auto carriage, with your strange opulent spells being present, it would be an eyesore, and that would not be very welcome. So that is why I'm trying to make sure that no other conservators or other individuals come to deal with you. I am probably one of the kindest individuals you'll meet as a representative of House Montulais, so to be sure. I want to make sure that you are on your way to at least Laneway. First, make your way to Laneway to find somewhere to stay for the night. If you wish to return back here to enjoy the foods therein, the diner, fine, great. I see a lot of folks, not unlike yourselves, who end up in that diner anyway. That's fine. But what I mean
So
to
we
say
can't go
is,
sightseeing tomorrow?
you just can't sleep in that thing here. You can see
Very
here.
odd.
Notter's just
What
like,
about over there?
How far do we have to go?
Laneway. You have to go to Laneway.
All the
Where's
way
that?
to Laneway.
Yes, it's about probably 10-20 minutes on
We can't
that.
just take it off the main road.
You can, but if a conservator does see it, they will have words with you, and I
What are
assure
they
you,
conserving?
the area.
We're not bothering anything in the area. We'll clean up after, I promise.
It,
Pinky promise.
if your opinion on the matter mattered, then I would have asked it, but it's not your
I
determination.
do have a question.
Turns to look at you.
Why
What?
is your hat so big?
It's an indicator of my role in the church.
Who do you serve?
I serve Atma.
Not the Montulais.
All the Montulais serve Atma.
Does
Are
Atma
you
want
a
us out of
Montulais?
this house?
I am a member of House Montulais, yes. I'm sorry. Again, the more pressing matter at this juncture is to have you move this thing out of the town. Make your way to the laneway. It's just down the road on the way to Sifford's Pass. It's a very small hamlet. You shouldn't have problem finding it. I am hopeful that perhaps your druid or someone amongst you, gesturing to Nodder when he says druid, or someone amongst you has the means of casting a spell that will grant you vision in the dark.
He's
or-
a bear.
What?
I am just a bear.
Yeah, he's a bear.
An
That-
awake?
She's a druid.
I was
Points
taking the
to
ego
Namalia.
boost, but
I don't
really-
care, he says.
I
kind of,
still
Oh,
don't
you don't care? All right,
understand why
so
your
we're
hat's
done
so
here.
big.
kind of like
Yes.
stops and focuses for a second, then he kind of turns his attention back to Nodder, then turns his attention to Namalia. If any insult was pushed, I apologize. I did not do investigatory work because my intent was for you to leave quickly, without question, and follow the orders I'd given you. You have not done that.
I have a question.
What is it?
How do you get through doors?
You can see his eyes start to twitch, and kind of like reaches into his sleeves and pulls out a holy symbol. The holy symbol in question shows a symbol that some of you might have seen in the past. Nodder, you've definitely seen this symbol before. A lot of the wild tribes in Ta and also the forest regions around Prosser have this icon on them. It is called an Atma. You are familiar with the term. There is no god here. It's just a symbol of kind of like chaos and destruction to you, Nodder. To others, it might represent something different, but in all aspects, it kind of represents this kind of knowledge that the triumvirate is kind of a falsehood. And he kind of brandishes it, kind of looks at you. By the power invested in me, granted by House Montulais in this
And your
district,
large hat?
I command you to leave this place.
We're not vampires.
Yeah, but you are
What
being
happened?
cast upon. I would like for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's going to be a 6th level spell.
Oh, he's trying.
I can't do it.
He's really trying.
I can only do the 4. So everyone besides Belroth. Yeah, make a Oh. No, there's no saving
Did
throw.
you fail? No.
There's no saving throw.
Oh.
Just do. It's an enchantment.
Aw.
It has no effect on undead. If you don't understand the language, or if the command is directly harmful to you. Just not. He says, leave, which kind of follows the same rules as flee. You'll spend your turn kind of getting ready to leave. And
Okay.
he's targeting everyone besides Belroth.
So Belroth can stay, but we
Person,
gotta
he probably doesn't
go.
like them
You'll do
most
so for-
right
Wait, is it because Belroth is big and strong?
You'll do
Is
so
he
for
going
about
to
6
enslave
seconds.
him?
You'll do so for about 6 seconds, kind of getting ready to leave until you realize that the spell's concluded and it no longer has power over you.
I
Whether
mean,
or
Nodder
not,
doesn't have anything, so we would have just been spinning.
yeah, whether or not, like, it just kind of spinning around, jumping into the back of the van. Whether or not you would have continued with the command after that point is entirely up to you. But he seems very annoyed. But once you start kind of getting the move on, that very first 6 seconds, he kind of sighs a sigh of relief. spell's effect is over. What do you want to do after that?
Wait a minute. What are we doing?
That was
Hard
so,
e-brake, yank the wheel, throw it into gear, and run this fucker over. No, I'm just...
Oh my!
Nobody tricks me!
I mean, that was really, that was really motherfucking rude.
That was a lot.
Do you say that in character?
No, because
He's still just
Namalia's not that hood, but
He's a lady.
she's feeling that.
Meanwhile, I think Belroth was just like
Nodder
watching
looks-
you guys like, wait, what?
Nodder would look at the wizard and be like, "You really tried that?"
Wait, why didn't you do
All
it
right.
to him?
Oh! What happens if Belroth tries to snatch the hat off his head?
Do you try to?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, go ahead and make an athletics check. And real quick, for those of you who are smarter, Jai and Namalia, go ahead and make a
Yeah.
just make a religion or arcana check, your choice.
Religion or arcana?
I hope he's bald underneath.
Oh no!
Some tragic rolls.
Okay,
Oh,
I
gosh.
guess this is happening.
Yeah, I don't want to fuck with him.
Sen, make an insight check.
Who? Me?
Sen, yep.
Oh God.
The hat's getting grabbed though. That is
15.
Yeah, so this guy works for House Montulais, the house you're going to
Yeah.
try and sneak up on or try and get
Yep.
in good with. And this is obviously how you're going to start that conversation.
Yep.
You watch as Belroth snatches the hat off of the guy.
Wait, maybe they'll take
What a
him
play.
to it.
You
Take
can
us
see that
to
his
What a
it.
hair
play.
underneath the hat is a very kind of just tight bowl cut, kind of like grayish brown hair. Looks like it's a very religious kind of style cut. And as the hat gets pulled away, he kind of glares at you, like angrily.
I know a better barber.
Mm-hmm.
And in response
Mm.
to his hat
Oh,
being
God.
taken,
Oh.
What,
Roll
level
for
9
initiative.
fireball?
no. Make a wisdom saving throw.
Everyone?
Oh my
Belroth.
god.
Not in character.
You got the hat,
but
and you go, huh, and then you kind of stop, and you all watch as Belroth just kind of go, "Toot." He grabs his hat out of your hand, looks at you in your eye, presses his finger against your nose, and pushes you, and like a rock, you just looks over to Namalia. I trust that you'll put this one in your auto carriage and be on your way. I've already signaled for reinforcements.
No,
If you're
post
not-
haste. Post
If you're
haste.
not gone in 30 seconds,
I like
you'll be
tap
spending
the frozen
night
body.
in incarceration, and your car will be owned by the family.
Oh, we just bought this.
Yep, nope, not even waiting for him to talk. I've like tapped her and I'm casting levitate. So like her body just floats and I just like shuffle it into the back of the van, shut the door, like get in.
Is the paint even dry on this thing?
Oh no.
Get in.
Does everybody go into the vehicle and drive off, or are
Well, Nodder's still technically in it.
we still fighting along?
No, we're not.
I mean, fuck the police, but
Yeah. I guess we can stay outside.
do
the
you want to
city.
try and make your way to Laneway? It's only about 10 to 15 minutes away, according
But
to
that's
what
closer to Stifford's Pass, right?
it is.
Which is not where we want to go.
Can't we go back towards like Erdelatz a little bit
Yeah.
and stop like off the road?
Sure, absolutely.
Is that
Um,
okay with everyone?
You can actually make it down to the base of the mountain. There are a number of these kind of Montulais style houses near the Citrine tier that is just at the base of the mountain, that lake there. It actually looks like there's a lot of fancy boats on the water. If you've ever been to kind of like a very ritzy kind of neighborhood where they live around a lake and are that type
Was
of
it a
person.
country club?
Yeah, it's like a country club. Like they've got
Little
like a
yacht
little,
club?
little marina, like on the lake.
Yep.
Yeah.
Those guys.
You drive on beyond that, and you kind of head off into the dark. It's pitch black. The vehicle does have lights, but they're not like flood lamps or anything, so it's still quite dark out here. But you do actually see off in the distance, maybe a few hundred feet out, a light that looks like a campfire.
Do we want to chill with them? Maybe they're cool.
Or maybe they're bandits.
I mean, are we not?
Bandits?
Belron's trying to take that guy's hat!
There's
I think Balrog is taking
there's-
a nap now.
there's one brain cell between the whole party.
And Namalia has it.
It's all in Amalia's head.
No, and it was frozen when Balrog got frozen. Like Namalia at this point is like reached that point where like she's not drunk anymore. She's starting to feel hungover, and she's like,
Sucks.
Namalia needs another drink.
I would cut off a tentacle for a mug of seawater right now. Let's just.
I mean, there's that lake back there, but it's probably not salty.
It's not. Let's camp out. Jay, if you can set up the bubble to be as camouflaging as possible, save, the pretty artistic flair for another time. Tonight, I feel like we need to be as incognito as we can.
Just no fun. It covers the whole thing in kind of like it looks like grass pattern almost. So in the foliage, it like isn't super obvious.
Very cute.
Yeah.
That works. Absolutely. And
And this time it's over the whole vehicle instead of just the back end. So we're all gonna have to cram in the fucking van and sleep like this because we're going for cover. I mean,
don't
I
want
guess
to
there's
sleep in the
probably a
grass.
little bit of room outside. Like you could sleep, or like two or three people could probably put bedrolls next to it. But I wouldn't say all of
I mean,
us could.
Zen will sleep on the ground.
Yeah.
And Otter definitely wants to sleep on the ground.
Hey.
I would say the
That
van
rock would be
is
where
big
we
enough
put 'em.
that you could probably all kind of lay out in it. There are a couple of you that are smaller than others.
True.
I think the bear would probably not fit.
I mean, Otter likes to sleep on the ground.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
It's a
Or
little
on top of the van.
cuddle party in the van.
Cuddle.
Yeah, I
Cuddle,
imagine
cuddle.
Jai actually gets up on top of the van and like sleeps on top with fucking
can see-
Meepo.
Go ahead and
They can see the stars.
explain to me how you, because this is the first time we've actually slept outside in the wild. And I know you have a bubble and think you're safe, but please do me a favor and decide if you're gonna take watches, how that watch cycle is going to go.
Well, how long am I frozen?
Oh, it was like a minute.
Okay.
You're back.
Sorry, I forgot to mention. You're
And I'm no longer drunk, so we're good.
Namalia needs to do her face beauty regimen, so
Does
she can take the first watch.
Does she do a mask?
She always,
Oh my
she does
God.
a mask.
That's awesome.
Seaweed mask.
A scrub. You would think it's a seaweed mask, but it's a kelp mask.
A little serum moment.
Yes. Sea salt scrub, the works.
We love it.
We love good skincare routine.
But yeah, how do you want to, if at all, take watches?
So
Otters.
Namalia can go first.
Okay.
Otter's cool with
Uh,
a watch.
Yeah. Sen can take morning
There
watch.
are
Last
Take a
watch.
middle watch.
7 of us, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
With
And we
Terry
need
and
to
Meepo.
cover about 8 hours of time.
Who, the second the auto carriage stops, Meepo's unconscious. Like, literally, like,
Basically a toddler.
he wasn't paying attention to really what was going on outside with all of you kind of fighting and stuff. And Terry was like, shut up, like, trying to keep him quiet.
Mhm.
And then, once you all got in the vehicle and the engine started going, the Meepo was like, yeah, yeah, yeah! And then the car stopped, he was like, ah!
He's like a dog.
That was it for him. But yeah, Terry probably takes a watch. I mean, that sounds like something Terry would do.
Otter's taking a watch.
Okay.
Balrog will absolutely take a watch.
take a morning watch. We'll probably wake up early.
Okay. So then, Namalia, you said you were going to do the last watch?
I was going to
First
do
watch.
the
No,
first.
first
watch.
Molly's
Sorry,
doing the
gotcha,
first
gotcha.
watch.
So
Sen's last watch.
First
I'll do
watch.
second to last.
First
I'll,
watch.
I'll go after Namalia then.
If you do 4-hour watches, you can just do 3 watches. It's not too big a deal.
You could go in pairs.
Yeah, you could. That would just mean a more secure watch, so that's fine.
Right.
So during your watches, someone roll me a d20 for 3 watches. So 3 d20s.
Like Rolexes.
Got a 4.
Okay, one more.
11.
And one last one from whoever wants to roll it.
I'll do a 1.
All right. Watch is uneventful. Very early in the morning, the air is kind of misty with seawater, or kind of like a sea haze. I don't know if you've ever been like on a coastal region, but like that nice kind of like just cold, but at the same time still kind of warm mist. Off in the distance, you can see that the camp that you saw is breaking down, and it looks like, from what you can tell, 3 individuals are getting up from the camp and moving towards Nock. One of them appears to be a very well-built human male. Looks like a farmer type. No weapons that you can see from this distance on that individual. Another one of them appears to be a what was he? Unknown individual, probably some I don't remember.
A
And
TBA.
the last one's the important one. It literally looks like a cloak that is floating with no legs. Like there's somebody put like a bunch of birthday balloons inside of the cloak, and the cloak is like floating off as if like there's nothing inside of it.
Like a ghost?
That's spooky.
Jai, being kind of on a bit more keen on the ways of things, would note that it's probably a beholderkin inside of a cloak.
They could have been fun to hang out with.
They could have, but you didn't.
To be fair,
To be
of
fair,
the one beholder kid I've ever met, he was lovely. Man could put down some drinks too. Or
Where?
I have beholderkin trauma, so.
Oh
Yeah.
no. That's fair.
thanks, Chad.
Chad. God.
Chad.
So
So shall we return?
Does anyone in the group have disguise kit, disguise spells? Looking at
oh
Jay.
yeah, 100%. You probably don't even have to ask that question in reality.
Matter's like, yeah, I got this.
The one
Jay.
person
Nose
that's
and like
gonna-
glasses for Party City.
Nader did once have a plan when we went to this one wine house in this weird dimension to just crawl around as a bear. We didn't do
Okay,
it.
but how are we gonna disguise the hat snatcher?
I mean, I can't help with that.
If Jay has a spell,
Yeah, oh yeah.
I mean, I can disguise something, but not anything else.
Yeah, I have disguise self, but I also have greater invisibility. So
That'll disguise you.
I'm
yeah.
gonna check here. I know he's not here, but his character is.
Yeah. I
I
think.
can.
I do also have a disguise kit, and
Oh,
I think I am trained with disguise kits as well.
Oh.
that's fancy.
So
I need to get one of those.
lay bard.
Yeah, Terry wasn't seen, but Terry doesn't have a means of doing it anyway. He can do it to himself. It's one of his.
Yeah, but I could disguise kit dizzy up all of us and like invisibility the bear.
Sounds good.
Couldn't we have disguised
mean-
the van as something that they thought looked pretty?
In hindsight,
I mean,
We hadn't said
I mean, I thought the
halfway
bubble was
drunk.
pretty, but
Bubble
Right?
was beautiful. It's like a
They don't-
goddamn work of art.
they don't have good taste. Maybe it was just the van that they had the issue
You
with, not the
know,
bubble.
What? Maybe
Um,
they just had a problem with us.
You know what they say? Beauty is in the eye of the beholder.
That's true.
The beholder can.
Oh wait, he was just here. You
We
did
missed
that.
the beauty.
We kind of dragged them back to the town and had him talk to, or had them talk to an asshole with the hat.
Yeah.
Honestly, you're just ugly. Leave.
I mean, what are we? You think this town's beautiful? Well, not with you in it.
Gosh, that's not what I said. I was specifically vague and obtuse. I didn't want to have to say it and be.
Well, he inadvertently called the monkey a beast, and she is not. She's a lady.
I didn't say that. I did not say that. I would never say that.
That NPC was just thinking it
Right.
Yeah.
like a dick.
That
Yep.
I don't like.
Awful.
I don't typically
A
do.
very large hat.
I'll be honest. I don't do racism in my games, and this is no different. They're not racist. They're just different.
He was very confused by.
It'll make more
The
sense the
amazing
more you
Hunter.
learn about Montulais. I
I
promise.
suppose.
right.
I suppose he is a victim of cult culture as well.
Yeah, but I try
Oh,
not.
true.
I try not to put racism in my games. It's not. It doesn't make sense. Anyway.
Right.
Um,
What are we trying to look like? What are we? What's our vibe?
That is a good question.
Are we just not looking like ourselves, or like
just not us.
just not us?
All right,
Like
I will dress up like a bearkin. Let's dress
Oh,
Sen
yeah.
up like a druid folk.
I don't know if there's much I can get away with.
I don't think
We'll
that I
turn
can.
the
do
bear
the
into a
tentacles.
half elf, half dragonborn.
Yeah,
Never
turn-
know.
And that means Belroth is a satyr.
And the reason why this is a great idea is because then, if you aren't sure how, whatever you're disguised as is supposed to be asking, just ask the real one.
Right.
Just play it out into a horror. Like, do what I do with Terry.
Yeah.
Make it your own. I'm so sorry, Chris.
Such stress.
Oh dear.
Back on track. What are we doing?
We're supposed to be disguising ourselves? Question
Yeah.
mark.
I believe that's right.
Well, just give me a theme.
Sure.
Circus. We have a dancing bear. We can.
Oh, I can put the top hat
Play
on
music.
the
I don't hate this idea. I don't.
We can have a trained bear. We've got some music. We can have a master of ceremonies.
I don't
with
hate this
Amalia.
idea.
We can have a strong man with Belroth. You could do knife throwing or some shit. And I don't fucking know.
Yes! Oh my god, it totally works for a traveling circus.
Sprouts
Traveling
beard.
circus.
What do
Here to
bears
put on a
do?
show at the manor for the family, free
Sprouts,
of charge.
a beard, and like big bazongas.
Love it.
Bearded lady.
We can do that.
Love it.
Notter's
I was
like,
Just in
prepared.
case-
what am I?
I was
Not-
prepared to hate this idea,
but
but I'm in. Like, Namalia, like, kind of had her arms crossed, and she was like,
oh
Then
my
transform.
god! Brilliant. It's brilliant.
Okay.
And Terry's
okay.
like, I'll be the ringmaster. Only he says it in a good accent.
I'll be the ringmaster, innit?
And this is how we die, like a bunch of fools.
Why
That's
were
the
we hired?
ringmaster, isn't it?
You don't think there's going to be anything that's going to bar you from going back into the town? They just wanted you to leave at that point. I mean, they may scrutinize you more because, one of
we're
the
trying
greatest
to
skills.
evade
I mean, they were being rude first.
by becoming an act that's designed to attract attention.
You agreed to a a stealth mission, and you're literally like the most obvious crew.
Okay, so
What
else
amazing
come up with an
clarity.
idea?
Hey,
Just spitballing shit. I don't know. Oh my
you know where
God.
she lives.
What if we just?
I mean, we could also just like
Jonathan's
pretend like we want a
"Here's the
job. Would that get us to the house?
Here's
know.
the door. It's wide open, and we're here like trying to crawl through the bathroom window. What?
Okay,
I'm
listen.
loving it.
We,
Like,
we
Oh my gosh.
I don't want you
Okay.
guys to overthink it to the point where you're like hurting yourselves.
I mean, we know where they live. We could
Too
just
late.
go there and be like, hey, you know what? That priest guy, we thought about it overnight, and you know what? We could do with the job. Then we're in, and we can ask questions. I mean, Notter's pretty suave.
So,
Sen,
idea.
Yeah, I could cover myself
Sen,
in
you've
dirt
got
and
the
work on
brain
mine.
cell. You're making it work.
I have a brain cell.
That is a great idea.
Not even that smart.
Oh my
I
god.
still think that we should disguise the hat snatcher.
Okay.
I don't know.
I mean,
is
you're
that
strong.
too much?
I feel like Belroth's strong enough that he could,
You know, in all
he
honesty,
could
like
deal with it.
Belroth's most kind of like notable feature is concealable by a hat.
Do you still have the hat?
Or an updo.
Yeah.
That's true. You got long hair. We could.
Alright,
We could.
Man
Jai, do you know how to
bun.
braid?
Man bun central.
Missed
Man bun. Oh, I can help
you-
with that.
Can you use the disguise kit to make
Yeah,
the man
I'm-
bun like really disguisey?
Honey, costume jewelry. This is gonna be beautiful.
He's just sitting
Are
there
you ready?
looking like mildly uncomfortable as everyone's like,
Disguise roll.
What do you want for?
I'm gonna say charisma because you're trying to make it look good.
Imagine Meepo staring intently at the hair, dude.
Yeah. It's pretty good. It definitely does what it needs to do in covering up the horns. And it doesn't look like it's going to be a problem. In fact, you actually prefer it once you kind of start moving about because, like, you've always had an issue with your hair and, like, you know, having it styled or, you know, it just grows pretty long because elves, you know. And it's never, like, in the way, but at the same time, like, it's always in the way. I don't know if you've ever, well, I mean, like, some of you have had long hair, some of you have not, but the person I'm speaking
oh,
to
like
is
when you
that-
accidentally roll over on it?
Yeah.
Oh my
yeah.
god, or get it caught in the car door.
Right. So you know what I'm saying. So like
Bad
it being
times.
up there, you feel like it's not going to be a problem.
This might be your new style.
Yeah, the man bun.
Hey.
I
Rip it all
have
off and just get a top
so
knot.
many other ideas we could try. This is not the end.
Another night.
Every morning, new updo.
Oh my god.
Between like Namalia's skincare and Jay's like hair salon, we could have started
There's a lot of different.
Ah.
There's a lot of different jobs. This time, 'cause
Fuck the quest. We're starting a spa.
Oh my god, you should just see
Carnival.
Belroth can do the massage because he's strong and can really get like that deep tissue massage.
I mean, honestly, this
Yeah.
just requires a bit of startup capital, and that's what the job's for.
This is what we're here. You know what? We could pitch it to the Montulais. Maybe they're
Sounds
into
like I
that.
think they'd be into that.
Start a startup show called Dragon's Den.
Good deal.
With actual dragons.
It's so dumb, it might work.
We want 80% of your gold.
80% of your hoard.
Amazing.
I actually love that. I'm getting a lot of good ideas for not this game.
What books you're gonna write?
I even forgot what that was, but I remember it being $1 million idea. Oh, I remember now. I'm not going to mention it again so I can make the money.
Okay, so are we doing this? What are we doing?
Oh, we're
Are
getting
we
jobs now.
Are we just getting jobs? Pretend
guess.
Do
jobs?
you want to
Yeah.
go back into Reinter's Mine town, or do you want to, I mean, do something different? Again, there's nothing forcing you to do anything. Just, a very powerful, very deadly woman back in Nog who would like for you to get this information for her. She doesn't have to know that you couldn't get it, or why you couldn't get it, or why you chose not to. But there's a lot out here. Like Sifrit's Pass is an option. Like if you want to investigate it and find out what really happened with that. I mean, if you want to try and see if you can't catch up, you probably will be able to catch up with the adventuring group or the 3 that were heading to Knock and see what their deal is. If you want to, go into Reinter's Mine, not for the job at hand and see what might be ailing them, be worthwhile checking out. Again,
I mean, we could just try and find out who their guest is.
yeah, I mean,
'Cause
you're.
that was
It's
the
gotta be
thing.
her.
Yeah, you're.
I hope it's not the Hat Man.
Lady Montulais.
Maybe it was the guy we're looking for.
The lady that you're looking for.
Well, no, we got the we know the lady's
Ex-Droms?
there, but is
Ex-Drom?
it
Oh, no.
was she already there and then
No, she just
extra?
moved out to the summer home. Yeah, so I mean,
Okay,
we're
so
here. We got the
she goes-
intel of where she's at. I think probably there's more stuff to explore, but we've got this lead. We should chase it.
Okay.
I think.
That's fair.
So, tell me how you're doing it.
Probably not the circus idea.
Well, I think we can travel as as we have. Can the
Auto carriage.
auto carriage take us up that hill?
Yeah,
or-
it could. It's just
okay.
going to be a difficult one. I'm going to actually require land vehicles roll from Jai if he's
I
attempting.
mean, we can walk if
Yeah.
it's
I
going
have
to be an
proficiency
issue.
as well.
Yeah, land vehicles.
Yep.
Oh, very cool. Looks like we found a new driver.
Oh shit.
Goodbye, Calvin.
But yeah, if you if you wanted to just spark it low side and walk up there, that's also an option.
Yeah, I don't see any reason for us to take the car up the tiny winding path.
Okay.
Seems like a real good way for us to fuck it up on the way down.
Okay. So you park, you head on up, and yeah, it's a pretty slow walk, very labor intensive, but the gardens around the road are very ornate, very beautiful. A couple of people kind of roll past you on these twin-wheeled kind of devices that they seem to be powering by their own locomotion. It's not something you've seen before in the city. Definitely strange, out of character. It's a bicycle. And they're kind of rolling past you on these. A couple people walking up behind you, some up ahead of you. It definitely looks like there are people, more than a couple of people, kind of operationally interacting with this house. When you get up to the top you would see that the house is a 3-story mansion, very narrow, kind of front facing. So I would say somewhere around 50 feet wide, only about 50 feet wide, but it looks like it's longer, and it looks like there are kind of like pathways along the outside that lead to the back. The door that's set in front of you, very ornate kind of glass paneling doors with stained glass symboling of the symbol I had mentioned before, kind of a yellow field with like a blue flower kind of set inside of it, which by now I hope you'd recognize as the House Montulais kind of iconography, their heraldry rather. And the door opens. You see someone kind of come out casually and start heading towards the road that you just came up. The door looks like it's not a typical like house door. It's more of like an office building door. Like it's not locked, and there are a couple of notations on the glass. What would you like to do?
What did the notation say?
Operational hours for inquiries, and it notates, basically kind of like a 8 to 5 p.m. kind of time slot. And for any specific inquiries, please regard. It says, "Oh my God, what the fuck? I just put that note away." Please regard Priest Helmkin.
Oh no, not that guy.
Can we say the scars are covered too? Because otherwise it's literally just, it's the same guy.
Oh, no.
With a man
Well,
bun.
It just says... Yeah. The person that did exit, though, you would note that they're carrying what appears to be like a parcel. Pretty large parcel, kind of on their backs. And they're heading down, into it.
Mater asks him, "What are you in there for? What'd you just leave doing?"
Huh? Oh, just kind of gestures towards the parcel on his back. He looks like a, simple kind of Osirian male, wearing kind of nice but not formal kind of attire. Kind of looks at you and says, just getting my month's worth of resources. Gestures to the parcel on his back.
Wait, is this how they pay you?
Huh? I'm not being paid. No, it's just my resources. Shrugs. Kind of starts walking away from you. Kind of confused, like you don't understand what he's saying. And why you...
Because he doesn't.
Right. Do you stand around outside or do you go on it?
I mean, if nothing's stopping Otter from going in, he's going to start going in.
yeah.
Alright, you follow behind the bear folk. Upon entering in, you'll see that the foyer is kind of a very simple, kind of 20 by 30 or so room. The right side of the room that you enter into is dominated by a 10-foot wide staircase that leads up into kind of like an upper area, a landing. Standing next to the door is a woman in a cloak. She kind of has like a kind of monk-like look. Her hands are kind of up like this in her sleeves, and she kind of looks up at you as you enter in. You can see that on the ground throughout the room and also in the connecting hallway that's kind of right in front of you are a number of these parcels kind of just placed out with kind of pieces of parchment kind of set on top of them. You can see from here that there appear to be names written out on these pieces of paper. The monk woman kind of looks to you and says, "Hello, traveler. How may I assist you?" And as you're all kind of stepping into the room, there's like a bit of a noise. The hardwood floor, the feet falling on it. But Sen, you kind of look over at the woman and immediately notice that her skin is pale white, and it looks like her jaw has been stitched to the rest of her face. You've seen similar stitching a long time ago, back in the land of the mists.
Oh shit.
Another- Another creepy priest was practicing similar work. She asks, "How can I help you?"
Matter puts his hands together, just browsing. He starts walking through the packages, walking by.
Just browsing.
Browsing, she says, and kind of moves over, places a hand on your chest as you're trying to walk past her, and kind of stops you. Now, you probably are thinking in your head, yeah, right. But then you immediately, like, kind of feel her force kind of, like, push back on you, and you're kind of like, oh? If you'd like to test that, you can make an athletics check.
No.
You sure?
Yeah.
Okay. She appears to be very strong.
Notter's not at the point where he's trying to be disrespectful yet.
He hasn't been drinking this morning.
Fair.
No, bear.
Get out of here. Anyway.
Yeah, I'm just curious on the place. I saw it from below. I wanted to see how it works inside.
Well, at current, the current individual who would receive guests on behalf of the house is currently engaged with other guests. I can see to it that she is aware of your presence, and if you'd like, you can wait here or outside, whichever is your pleasure.
I suppose I could wait outside. I wasn't really interested in meeting him, but sure.
Yes, it should not be a problem. They're just currently dining for supper with these other guests.
Isn't it kind of early for supper? I don't judge. It's fine. We can wait.
Of course.
Oh,
Well-
I wasn't trying to tie himself to the group.
I mean, those gardens are really nice. We could go look at those.
Feel free to do as you wish. You are allowed access to the house if you wish to wait. You may sit in the sitting room, or if you would like, you can entertain yourselves in the gardens. She gestures towards the door on the right, in the hallway, just like down the way, if you want to go to the sitting room.
Oh.
Malika will shrug and kind of make her way towards the sitting room. I mean, she does not a drinker, so she's pretty hungover. She kind of just wants to sit and chill.
As you kind of make that motion, she kind of makes her way along with you. You can see that she intercedes herself between you and the door on the left side, which would be on the south side of the house. You can kind of overhear some chattering from there, but not too much. She then gestures towards the door, which opens at her gesture. And then when you kind of enter inside, you would see that there's a very nice sitting room. Looks like there is a very large brown bear pelt on the floor.
Whoa!
And the head of a large brown bear on the wall.
Oh no.
Awkward.
Sensi's that just like reaching up to cover
Namalia kind of like dry heaves a little bit, like, huh? She's
Maybe the
sort of,
gardens
like,
were a better
repulsed
idea.
by it. But as long as Noder is out there, not in here.
I think
Honestly,
Nutter's
I
in
don't
there.
think
I think
Valrod
Nutter's
would
saw it.
Did we all go?
Yeah.
Okay.
I
Nutter,
thought he was gonna hang in the garden.
yeah, I was trying to keep myself separated from the group, but then everyone was like, yeah, we're cool. We can go inside. So Nutter's inside too.
Oh no.
She
Not
still
gonna-
I'm so sorry.
seems to be kind of standing, interceding at that spot. Hold on a second. I think I missed something. Bear with me here.
Ooh,
What?
the map.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I'm playing with your character sheet for a second.
Is that a
Cizo?
window?
Yeah. So, Cizo, Namalia would have actually heard as this woman in front of you was walking a sound of what sounds like chains rattling every time she moves. Very faint. Not like a jingling kind of noise, but almost like kind of like a thick kind of chain moving, but not loud enough that it's causing anyone else to notice. It almost
It's
as if
kinda
it's
like
coming from inside of her.
From the woman that's talking to us.
Yep, and just led you to this room.
Is there anything? Is there any kind of experience or knowledge that would give meaning to that?
No.
Okay.
Very strange.
Very.
But yeah, if you sit here and wait, how long do you plan on waiting before you get uncomfortable, or do something else?
Well, who do we think the company is that, like, what are we thinking?
Well, if we wait for a guide, I mean, that means we'll be led into the house, like deeper into the house. We could always splinter off. Namalia could always turn into like a, I don't know, crab or something, and like scamper
But
somewhere.
you can do that.
Yeah,
That's
she's a
wild.
druid.
Yeah.
Druid.
Perks of Druid.
So
I will say for
I love it.
sanity's sake, Terry and Meepo would have came in too. I don't know why they would have stayed outside or down the hill.
Sanity's sake,
Yeah.
I think we're past that.
I mean, there is literally a bear
Staring at
in a
us.
room with the carcasses of maybe his kin.
That's horrible.
As you're sitting there and kind of talking amongst yourselves, the time passes like I asked, if there's a short amount of time that would have kind of been offsetting and you would have done something, feel free to notate that. But if not, about 30 or so minutes pass, and the attendant kind of moves into the room, kind of gesturing Sen to take a seat. If they're still standing at the door.
Yeah, I mean, they're just kind of standing around, yeah.
And once they enter in, you can see that they slowly kind of push the door behind them closed, turn and kind of look at you, but mainly focuses on Nodder. Nodder Razorclaws?
That's me.
You are the one who destroyed the nobility of the town of Prosser. It would seem that you have punishments. And she pushes her hood back. And as she does so, her hand kind of lingers at the top of her head. She grabs her own hair and pulls her head off of her neck. And you can see a chain dangling between the bottom of her head and the inside of her body. As that's happening, her hand on her other hand snaps back, flesh tearing off, and you watch as a large blade with a hook at the end just drops out of her wrist. And that...
fucking kill this bitch if she kills Nodder.
And that is where we'll end the session for tonight.
We
Thanks
will
for
end
watching.
it.
And we'll pick up next session with the judgment and punishment of Nodder Razorclaws. Thanks for watching.